There he is.
What up? What up? What up?
Hey, man, thank you so much, man. Thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate you doing this for me, man. I've been doing this now for like about, I would say about almost 3 months now. And I got the idea because I started gigging, I started getting on the Freestyle Explosion on the West Coast. And I don't do a lot of West Coast stuff because I'm mostly Northeast. And I started bumping into a lot of acts that I never really shared the stage with. So I've done many shows with you, like Trinier, stuff like that. And I started JJ Fad and them. And because I don't really get to work with them that much, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, you can only learn so much when you're on tour with someone because you go in, you do your sound check, you're out, and then you're ready for the show later. And then usually you bounce.
Definitely.
So the first thing I ask everybody, Rob, what's your hometown? You represent?
Well, I'm originally from Harlem, New York. That's where I came up, born and raised. You know what I'm saying?
And where you at now?
Well, right now I'm in Jersey, man. South Jersey. I had to make the move,
I got you. You stay in quarantine?
Yeah, definitely, man. I ain't going nowhere, man. I went out early. I had to pick up a few things, but that was pretty much it,
Yeah, it's really crazy what's going on right now, man. It's just, it starts getting closer and closer to you don't think, and you start hearing little mumblers here, mumblers there, people and I'm like, I just saw the Idris.
Yeah, that's crazy. I seen that this morning. I was like, wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, and you don't even know. So, but, look, I tell everybody the best thing is, man, just stay home. Stay home, read a book, write some new music. I'm going to be right after this. I'm getting on this in the studio right here. We'll start doing some stuff.
I hear you. Yeah, the best thing, stay home if you could. If you don't have to go out, man, stay in the house.
Gotcha. So I see you rocking that Yankee hat. You a Yankee fan?
Oh, Yankee all day, man. Yankee all day. I used to live not too far from the stadium, so that Yankee love is always there.
So you live not in the Bronx, though?
Nah, I live right across the water from the stadium. So
okay, because
Lincoln Projects.
Which one?
Lincoln Projects.
Oh, hell, I know exactly what that's. My ex
they used to call it Stinking Lincoln back in the day.
I used to live in 170th in the Bronx in the Grand Concourse. So the stadium was 161. So I lived a couple of blocks away from there. Right. So the reason why I wanted to get you on the show is because I at first my idea for the talk was I wanted to pretty much approach the people who are behind, like people like you and people like me, the people that don't really like the light, they just stay in the background. So I wanted to kind of like, at first I started with just producers. I wanted to talk to producers. I wanted to talk, okay, so how did you come up with this music? Why? Where did you get inspired from? And then I started talking to K7, and K7 had told me, G, sooner or later you're going to have to start doing artists, and, you should start putting the people on who we grew up listening to. So I don't know why it took me so long to hit me, but I said, oh shit, you're right. So I've seen you in a lot of concerts with the freestyle concerts, and before we get into this, is music something you always wanted to do, or you just stumbled upon it?
Well, I could say I always wanted to do it since I heard the first rap record, Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang. So that was something, when I heard that, I was like, yo, I want to learn how to do this, And then the projects I grew up in, it was a group that used to jam in the park called the Crash Crew.
Okay.
And then, I used to watch them every time, I get a chance when they come out and get on the mic or whatever, I would just watch them and study them. So then right then, I pretty much knew that's what I wanted to do.
It's funny because I was a b-boy, so I was the one dirtying my Adidas suit and with the cardboard and the wax. So I used to go to the park. It depended anywhere, 161st, wherever there was a jam. Took my bike, and that's where we went. So I saw Grand Wizard Theodore. I saw the Crash Crew. I saw the Funky Four. Plus, I was there watching it, and so growing up, what I liked was the crowd participation, because the art of passing the mic and freestyling back and forth, I don't really see it much anymore. And I'm talking about, where they verbally choreograph their delivery. You know what I'm saying? So it's like 4 or 5 guys on stage, and they're all pretty much, it's almost like doo-wop. Like they're kind of singing in harmony, but they pass the mic, right? They pass the verse. They give each other space. You take that pocket, and then you all join in a hook. But like I listened to the old cassettes, and I was into the other day because I was into this XM radio station, Rocky Bells, on Saturdays. They do the old school, so I was listening to that, and I'm like, man, that's a lost art, man. They don't really do that like they used to do back in the days.
I definitely miss those days. Definitely miss those days. Cold Crush 4, the way they used to be harmonizing. Fantastic Five, they had great routines. Crash Crew had great routines too, but yeah, we need to bring that back a little bit. I know the Jurassic 5 tried to bring it back at one point, but I mean, it went well for a while, but it didn't stick around. But that art of hip hop need to come back.
I mean, I believe it's good for stage, because when you do it on stage, I mean, it's a little bit of organization, but you do improvise. You know, you do improvise because sometimes you come off the cuff and whatever happens, happens. I always believe that that's where the magic happens. When you do something off the cuff, good things happen. And I know that every time you go on stage, you usually later on, do you know exactly what you're going to do when you get to that audience, or you have no idea what you're going to do? Like, because every audience is different.
Well, pretty much I usually have like a set program, or what we're gonna do, you know, a set list of the songs we're gonna play, and sometimes, you know, I stay on the plan, and then sometimes I might go off depending on, you know, how the crowd is reacting, you know. So I just always play off what the crowd. I watch the crowd, you know.
Yeah, I know you definitely eat off the crowd, because I watched you one time, I forgot where I was, and you know, I mean, we're the same age, 67, you're 67. I already did the research. So, you know, I do the show, no disrespect. Sometimes I just want to go to my room and go to sleep. You know? So I stood one day and I watched the show, and I mean, you know, hip hop does something to people, and people don't realize this, man. Like, freestyle the streets, I like, you know, that's what we did. That's what we started doing after we listened to stuff like TKA and India and Stevie B and all that stuff. But when hip hop comes in, you know, it's just like a shot to the arm. It's like a shot of adrenaline, right? It's like a shot of adrenaline. Like you shoot them with the hip hop, and then they wake up, and so you start on a high. Do you ever notice when you start on a high, because you know they lose their mind when you come on, right? You start on a high. Do you always see the show? You see them dying down a little bit, and then do you pay attention to that?
Yeah, I see it. It goes down and picks right back up, though. That's a good thing.
Is there something? Do you have like a remedy for that when you do your show? Do you say, okay, I'm gonna have to wake them up, I'm gonna hit them with something different, or you just do the straight show straight ahead?
Well, it depends on, you know, how much time we have. That's one thing, you know. And then, I mean, if we only got like a certain amount of time, I try to hit them hard the whole time, you know. But if we got a longer set time, then, you know, I hit them hard, and, you know, calm it down a little bit, and then hit them hard again, you know.
Yeah, I remember someone had told me, I was talking to this business guy. He had told me, so, you know, he didn't know much about music, period. So he goes, so what do you do? And I told him, you know, I told him, just to cut it short, I said, I'm in the music business. So he goes, where are you here from? I'm like, there's a big, like a throwback concert, and oh yeah, so it's just you. I said, no, it's a whole bunch of us. He goes, oh yeah, so how many? Oh, about like 10. I said, damn, how much time you got? I was like, it depends. Sometimes we get 15, sometimes we get 20, sometimes we get 10. It all depends, you know. So a lot of people don't understand that you go in and your fans are like, well, that's it. You don't got no more. And do you ever feel like you didn't give enough to your fans? Sometimes I do. Like sometimes, like if I do 10 minutes, sometimes I feel like that I can't, and I get inbox like, why you left so fast? What about us? Do you get that as well?
I definitely feel that way sometimes. You get up there and you only got like a short amount of time, and you know the fans, they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So yeah, I definitely feel like that, because I definitely want to give them more. You know, I want to hit them with them to get on the dance floors and the turn it out, and the songs that you know that you don't hear every day. You know, but you know we there to do a job, so we're gonna do what we got to do. You know, that's pretty much it.
Absolutely. You know, I was going through your discography of songs, and I think you did a record in, was it 2007 or 2000? I know I used it on the commercial, and you had some stuff there that was I think it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I know I liked it. I mean, that shit was kind of, I downloaded a whole bunch of it. So was that project something that you did on your own, with your own imprint?
Yeah, I think that was something we did on our own, and we signed it with a label or something, and the label folded, so that's what happened to that project, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know, man. I had the same situation. They had this record, man. It was supposed to be a big record, and the freaking executive dies 2 days after. You know, it's like, you know, it's, what are you gonna do? So you did this whole investment, you know, and you tried to put, you know, give it legs, but he was the connect with the label, so it was what it was. But so let's backtrack a little bit. So I came out, like, my first actual record was like in 87. It was on an independent label by Warlock. I was out distributed by Warlock Records.
Yeah, I was signed to them for a moment.
Right, Younger Brothers and all that stuff. Yeah. So what was your first record ever? Like, was it this stuff, or was it you had stuff already that you were already doing that never made a lot of noise?
Yeah, we had the first record that we ever made was called DJ Interview. It was on the Mike and Dave label, and that came out, I think, in 86.
Okay.
And then the second record we made was called Make It Hot.
That one I heard.
Yeah, and that came out in 87.
That was FFR or something like that?
That was on, what label?
It was like a United Kingdom. That was on
World of World Records.
That one.
Mm-hmm.
So did you know anything about recording? I didn't. Like, when you went into the recording studio, you're already a little seasoned. You know what you had to do.
Well, pretty much, because we've been in the studio quite a few times, because we was trying to make a record for the longest, you know. So we was always going to studios. So when we got to really get a chance to record the first record, we kind of had an idea of what we was doing. And by the time we did the second one, we definitely knew what we was doing at that point.
Now, are you involved in a lot of the production then starting?
Yes, pretty much. You know, a lot of the stuff I came up with the idea, and then we would go into the studio, and then an engineer would put it together. So it was pretty much like that in the beginning, you know. So when you were working, obviously you were recording to tape, analog, right? Yes. Yeah.
You're recording to analog, and what was your writing style? Did you already come in with lyrics? Like, I come in with lyrics already done. I can't improvise like right there sometimes. I'm not that talented. Or did you write stuff off the cuff right there?
Well, I would get the track, and if I liked the track, I would write something to it, you know. So once we get in the studio, I would already have in my mind what I wanted to do, you know what I'm saying? It would be already written.
So you have more or less like an avenue that you're going to go down, and you like, let me try this, you know? Was there ever a time you went into the studio and you did something, you're like, I'm not feeling this, just cut it, I'm not feeling this right here?
Oh, a lot of times. A lot of times.
A lot of people don't know that.
And go home and listen to it a few times. You'd be like,
A lot of people don't realize a lot of the failures that recording has, because you go in your mind, it sounds like something else, and then when you put it down, you're like, oh, that's not the way it was supposed to sound.
Yep, exactly.
You know, is that so? Why? Obviously, we're out of Harlem. Why Rob Bass? Why not like MC Rob, or, you know, Rob something else? Why Bass? Where did Bass come from?
Well, I started out as, what was it, MC Rob G. That's how I started out.
I like that one.
And then, you know, I wanted to be a little different, so I wanted to come up with something different, because at that time, I used to watch Dougie Fresh a lot. And at that time, Dougie Fresh, that name stood out, because there wasn't really no rappers with, most rappers was either such and such.
Well, he wasn't really a rapper. Would you consider him a rapper when he first started? He was more of a beatboxer.
I mean, he was an entertainer from the jump. I mean, he was rapping in the projects where I was at. So, you know, I looked at him. I mean, he did his beatbox thing. He was rapping. I was like, yo, I just liked him, his name, as far as, because it was different from all the other rappers, you know?
True.
So I said, I got to find something different. So back in the days, a lot of the rappers used to say, put the bass in your face, the highs in your eyes. I said the bass. All right, it clicked with me, the bass. Let me change my name to Rob Bass. That'll work right there.
It is not like bass, like is it BASS or BASE?
Well, it was BASS, you know, for like, you know, the treble and the bass, you know.
Yeah.
It was that. But then a lot of people started spelling it with the BASE, so I just kept it that way.
Okay, I like it that way better.
I do too.
So let me ask you, do you know of Latin hip hop? When I say Latin hip hop, my Latin hip hop freestyle, did you hear it when in your hood back in the days?
Yeah, we used to always hear freestyle, you know. Especially, you know, I knew K7, you know, we went to school together, so, you know.
That nigga went to fucking school with everybody, man. Every time I speak to him, he said, Lisa. What school is that?
Julia Richmond.
There you go. Let me tell you, how many people came out of there? How many singers came out of that school?
Well, I know K7, Lisa.
Mark Anthony too, right?
Who?
Mark Anthony.
Yeah, I think Mark Anthony was there.
Jesus, man,
I think Dougie Fresh had a class in there at one time. I can remember. There was a lot of artists in there.
Yeah. So you knew of K7 when he started with TKA.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Me and him used to be in the lunchroom rhyming.
Yeah, he wanted to be a rapper. He told me, he's like, hey, I wanted to be a rapper. When he first came out, he goes, we were supposed to be a rap group, you know? So, and I heard some of the stuff. It was actually pretty good. But, you know, he got the best of both worlds. He was doing the house stuff, the freestyle stuff, and then he started doing the K7 stuff, which was kind of cool. Now, Harlem has a lot of legendary MCs, right? And a couple of years from now, your kids are going to look at your name and you're going to be one of the, you know, spoken rappers, you know, with his post in the books, right? So do you hear of any of your former colleagues, when I say colleagues, other rappers, when you were making a lot of noise? I'm talking about when you were just touring and your record was all over the place and you're already certified. How many millions you sold with that record?
Oh man, it's still selling.
Still selling. So, right. So, was there any lashback to you? Did you ever feel, or did you feel an embracement? Or, I mean, you're always gonna have a little bit of haters.
Well, when it first came out, it was a lot of love. It was love when it was like breaking and it was like tri-state area, but then when it kind of crossed over, a lot of the artists was like, he's a sellout, this and that. But, you know, I made that record for Harlem. You know, it was supposed to be a street record. I didn't even know it was going to cross over the way it did. So, you know, yeah, we got a lot of haters after that, you know, but I ain't care about that.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad, man, because you're always going to get it. It don't matter what you do, man, because, look, so you're trying to tell somebody, so if I have a storefront and my storefront is doing really, really good, what, you don't want me to eat? You want me to just keep selling the same old stuff and not get better? You know, so, I mean, it's a give and take. Now, the record, I remember the record coming out and was sampling. Did you clear samples back then, or there was no clearance yet on samples?
Well, it takes two. It wasn't hard on the sampling back then. You know,
they weren't, right? Because it kind of started with like De La Soul and then afterwards.
Yeah, afterwards then they started.
Yeah. That I heard, because I know you sampled. You got James Brown. You got some James Brown in there, right?
Yeah.
And what's the female singers?
The original song was by Lynn Collins.
There you go, Lynn Collins. Yeah.
It's called Think. Yeah.
Right. You better think. Right. Mm-hmm. So I saw an interview that you said you know it was a record that you had to just come up, right? It was a filler. It was an album filler.
No, that was when we went to do that. It was a single. Because at that time rappers wasn't making albums. You know, they were just putting out singles at the time.
Okay.
Pretty much. So we just had to be in the studio. So me and Easy Rock went to the studio. We came up with that, and that was it. And once that came out, it got hot. That's when the record company wanted us to do an album.
And that was with Profile?
Profile Records, yeah.
Yeah, I think I was signed to Profile afterwards. It became Robbins Entertainment after that. Did you still speak to Corey from time to time?
I spoke to him. I would say a few years ago. I did his wedding. He invited me to his wedding.
Okay.
That was the last time we spoke after that. I think a few times. Me and Corey was always cool. You know?
Yeah, Profile was big, man. So he signed Run DMC, right?
Yep.
And they were on Profile, right?
Yep. Run DMC was on Profile. Yep.
So you on a Profile label with the Kings, man. That's kind of. Have you ever performed with them?
Yeah, a lot of times.
Really?
Those are my boys. Those are my boys for years. You know.
So I'm glad that I must segue to this topic. See, freestyle, we only got a little window. But freestyle, we enjoyed the pop life for like about, I don't know, from like 90, 91 to like maybe 96, 6 years. You know, it grew up, it got saturated. Everyone in the corner thought that they could sing, and that's when it saturated. It gave it a kind of a disrespect, like a gray area. People weren't feeling freestyle anymore, and that's when the gangster rap came in from the West Coast. MTV came, and then that shit just blew up, right? Mm-hmm. So, when people ask you what freestyle, you tell them, yo, Rob, where are you going to be at this week? I'm doing this concert, this freestyle concert. The people that don't know freestyle, what do you tell them?
Well, they don't know. They a lot of the people I'm around, they know what freestyle is. You know, they know you, they know Stevie B, and TKA. That's the people I be around.
Right.
I don't really get no questions like that. Most people, if somebody not too sure about it, they just say that, oh, it's dance music. You know, like, yeah, dance music. You know.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. I tell people a lot of dance music. Now, do you know how big you are in the Latin community? I'm sure you do, because you see all these faces when you go out there.
Yeah, it's always been like that. It's always been like that for me since it first came out. You know.
Really?
Yeah, to me, it's always been like that. Because I stayed in the Bronx back in the day, and I used to be all over the place, out there. So everybody knew me. Everybody knew me, and It Takes Two. One thing about It Takes Two, it's for everybody. It's for everybody, white, black, whatever.
Oh, hell yeah.
And that's what a lot of people love about the song. It just doesn't stay in one genre,
No, in that video, whoever that girl was dancing in that video, and she was pumping it. I remember I was like, damn, who's that? Fly. She was hitting that beat real hard. It was like a black and white kind of video. And now that video, was that something that was recorded when you guys did the video, or that was something that was done on the side, or that's the way the video was intended to be?
Well, actually, when we did the video, the record company didn't want to give us a video at all.
Wow.
And we was like, yo, we gonna go shoot our own video. So we just took our money and put it together, and we shot our own video. And then I think Ralph McDaniel started playing it from Video Music Box, and then all of a sudden, then the record company was like, "Oh, wait a minute, let's go back in and edit it." Then they jumped aboard. Then
that's what I'm talking about, man. I tell people all the time. People tell me, because you said you were doing a single, and when you did It Takes Two, it wasn't really like you didn't prep what you were gonna do. I mean, you did prep, but you didn't really think too much about it, right?
Nah, I just wanted. The beat was hot, and I was like, once I heard the beat, that's all that I needed right there. And I was like, yo, I'm just gonna drop some rhymes on this joint, and it's gonna work. And they fought with me a while, saying that it was too much woo yeah in the song, and I said, nah, you gotta leave that in there. They wanted to take it out.
Really?
So I had to fight them to keep that in there.
I can understand from an engineering perspective, because it's all over your voice. So it's crashing on your voice. So as an engineer, I probably was question that. I'm like, but hey, you know what? You stuck to your guns, and you made the right decision. Now, I don't want to disrespect, your partner. I know he passed away in 2014. 2014, and now you guys, Easy Rock. Now, did you guys mean to do a group together? Did you accidentally meet to do the group, or that's the way it was gonna be. We're gonna do an album, the DJ Easy Rock and Rob Bass.
Well, when we first started out, it was like 7 of us actually. It was 7 members of. We was a group called the Sure Shot 7.
Damn.
Yep. So then, as time went on, one member left, the next member left, and it just wound up being me and him.
Right.
So we pretty much just stuck together after that, you know.
That's cool, man. And so after you guys did, you did the tours and everything, what year did you guys part ways?
I think we had what's it? I think it was in '89.
Oh, that early?
Well, yeah. Well, it wasn't no beef between me and him. It was beef with the management. He had beef with management, and they had wanted to part. But I brought him back after that, and then we was good for a while.
Yeah, because I remember I saw you guys you brought him back on stage, and I remember when I saw that. Is there, so going into the performance, is there a particular country that you look forward to performing? Like, every time, like for me in Chicago, every time I go to Chicago, they lose their mind. Like, I love Chicago. They show me a lot of love. Is there a particular country or state that you like to go to, and this is all Rob Bass territory?
I mean, there's so many places, man. I like Chicago. I like, I love New York. That's number one.
Hell yeah.
Philly. I mean, it's too many places, man.
Really?
Toronto. I love to perform in Toronto.
I love Canada. Toronto's awesome, man. Now, do you do a lot of European stuff? I mean, obviously not now, but do you do a lot of European stuff?
Well, actually, I haven't done anything over there for a long time.
Really?
I do. Basically, I do a lot of Canada. A lot
No
of Canada,
way.
a lot of United States.
Your song is so international. Like, I mean, it's internationally alone. It's like it's all over the place. And when you go to Discog, it's an app it's a website. It shows all your sales of where you went, and it shows all these countries. So I'm thinking, oh, he's going over there. He's going over there. He's going. I mean, it's funny. I don't do Europe neither as well. I haven't been to Europe ever. I mean, I've been asked. But, at this age now, I got kids, and I'm like, yeah, I'll go. If you pay, I'll go. If you ain't going to pay, I ain't going. Is that simple?
That's the problem I have with over there, too. It's like they want me to come, but they don't want to pay right. So I'll be like, I'm not flying all those hours to get the same money I can get here. That don't make
Absolutely.
sense.
Thank you so much. I get a lot of flack for that, and, a lot of Brazil is real big on wanting me out there. Like, they want me out there, Vietnam, believe it or not, they want me out there. The Philippines, they want me out there. But, it's the economy, the numbers ain't right, man. So, and it's like, at the end of the day, people need to understand it's a business. It's a business.
It got to make sense. Fly all those hours.
Exactly. So you did, It Takes Two was the first one, and that went, I think, number 3 on the pop charts, right? It peaked at number 3? It peaked at number 3. And then you came out with Joy and Pain. Right. Now, that was another single, or that was on the album?
That was on the album.
So
but it became a single. Yeah, it was a single. Yeah.
And then was that a track that you had already did, or was something that you guys came up while you were doing the album?
Well, that was something that we did while we were doing the album. When we was working on it, and I heard the hook "Joy and Pain" by Frankie Beverly. And because they used to always play it in this roller rink called Rooftop uptown in Harlem.
I remember Rooftop.
The crowd used to respond to that joint, so I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna do a record off this joint right here."
Yeah, that one. I mean, you can't go wrong with those guys. It's like, now going back again, sampling issues or no sampling issues?
Not in the beginning. They wasn't really bothering nobody.
Until you started selling records, that's what.
Yeah, when the records started selling, then the first one to come was Frankie Beverly. He was like, "Nah, I want my money."
Yeah. Hey, I get it.
I mean, I wasn't fighting it. I had told, the record company, I told, "Hey, man, that's Frankie Beverly, man. Give him what he wants, But they wanted to fight it. I'm like, how you gonna fight it? That's his song.
Exactly. No, these record company execs, they try to keep it all, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So that record, what was the highest charting on that record?
I'm not even sure. I can't even remember.
It had to be at least top 40.
Yeah, it probably was on definitely top 40.
It had to be on top 40 because I know I always ask because a lot of people don't understand that, you know, obviously you probably, you care, but you probably don't even check out the charting and stuff like that. I was always one that was looking at the charts because I just wanted to know, like, why is this number here, this guy here, and why is this girl down here, and her record, personally to me, is better than this record. So why, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, I know it's politics. I think
it was a lot of that too.
It's a lot of politics now. People don't understand that. So getting back to the music, is there something or someone that you always wanted to work with, to record something with?
To be honest, I never really thought about that.
Really? If you got a check right now, someone says, I want you to do a record. Who you want to put on this record? Who you want to do a duet with? Who you want to do a feature with? Who would it be, and why would it be that? Like for me, I pick Babyface. I'm a huge Babyface fanatic. I've been to many of his concerts, and I would choose Babyface in an instant. And the reason why I would do Babyface is because his melodic and chord changes on ballads are ridiculous. They're ridiculous, and I can pinpoint that sound from anybody like that. So that's someone I would love to work with, Babyface. That's just me. I'm just doing my 2 cents. So,
all right.
Who would you like to work with?
I mean, I can't.
There's gotta be somebody.
Yeah. If I could, I would like to do a joint with a couple of old school cats like Dougie Fresh, Biz Markie. Do a record with them, that'd be hot for me. I'd be cool with that.
That'd be hot. That'd be that. So wait, but because Doug is from Harlem, Biz is from Harlem too.
Big is from Long Island.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah. I know he was in.
Biz used to hang with us in Harlem all the time, so
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, Biz hung around. Me and Biz, man, we used to carry equipment together. So before we didn't have no records. Me and Biz carrying equipment, giving out flyers. So me and him go way back,
Who used to hand out flyers? Who used to carry crates for? For anybody?
Mike and Dave Productions.
Okay.
They was the ones that put the Crash Crew out,
Oh, okay. Crash Crew, they were no joke. Now, were you a skater? A roller skater?
Nah.
You wasn't? I lived in roller skating rink. And let me tell you, I thank roller skating rinks for introducing me to mid-tempo music, because if I didn't go roller skating like to the Fever or Skate Key or the Rooftop, or I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't get to hear those records. Like Ain't Nothing Going On But the Rain. You're gonna make me love somebody else. Stuff mid-tempo like that. That's what I grew up on, because when I was starting up as a young kid in the Bronx, what I listened to was mostly African American, like black music. I grew up on the Jackson 5s, and I grew up on Latin music too. I grew up on like the Fania, all those Celia Cruz and all those people. And then I mixed it in also with the Jackson 5, Michael Jackson, New Edition as I got older, Peabo Bryson, Patti LaBelle, and then like Luis Miguel and Pimpinela, just an eclectic sound of music. What did Young Rob Base grow up to in your teenage years? What were you listening to?
Well, I was definitely listening to hip hop, but I was also listening to a lot of like the old school R&B, because my parents, that's all they used to play around the house. Yeah. So I listened to a lot of James Brown and who else? Stephanie Mills, stuff like that. That's all I used to listen to, because that's what they used to play. Yeah, I listened to a little disco when what's that, Saturday Night Fever came out. John Travolta,
Yeah, the trap and all that stuff. Yeah, the cool stuff. Because there was some disco that my brother was. I grew up listening to disco because of my older brother. So there was some disco I used to listen to, and I remember the one thing about disco was the production. Like they use live strings, like big live strings, orchestration, real drums, real everything was live. Everything was live, and I remember listening to the speaker, sitting down next to the speaker and listening to all the instrumentation because it was all live, man. It sounded so big. Then you had these background singers with big voices, and the records, the songs were just amazing songs. And I remember listening to stuff like that and saying, man, I mean, if I ever want to become a singer, I'm gonna have to like compete with stuff like this. This is big time. I mean, you just never knew where life was gonna take you. When you started doing the touring thing, did you always think it was gonna be like that? Did you say, "Oh, my life is set"?
I mean, when we first started touring, like I was really shocked that we was actually touring. I was like, wow, you know, because I thought, you know, like I thought we was just gonna be doing shows like around the tri-state area. Yeah. And we got that first tour with Salt and Pepper, and we had our tour bus and all that. It was like a dream.
Well, you went on that tour?
Yeah, I was on the first Salt and Pepper tour.
What was the name of that tour? You remember the name?
What was the name of that one? I can't even remember the name of that.
It was you. Who else was on it?
It was us, Salt and Pepper, Kid and Play. If I'm not mistaken, Keith Sweat was on there, I think. Keith Sweat, I think, was on that.
I think I might have gone to that. So I'm trying to remember.
That was a pretty big tour.
Where did you do it? Madison Square Garden in New York, or was it another venue?
Say it again?
When you were on that tour, did they do Madison Square Garden?
Yes, they did Madison.
I think that's where I went. You remember the years, right?
I can't remember. Yeah, it had to be 88, 89 around that.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised when I went to those concerts. So yeah, man. I mean, we used to listen to, you know, pretty much all that stuff like Daddy Kane and a lot of the early stuff. What I used to do was I used to listen to like a LL Cool J record, like an early like a Tila Rock record, right? Because Tila Rock was from the Bronx. I always saw him walk around. Super nice guy. He always at the time. I remember every time he walked on, I was like, oh my God, there's Tila Rock. Tila Rock. That was one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite records because there was no bass line in this record. It was just a beat. And I remember my thing was I like MC. I was more like if an MC had a dope voice. That's the kind of shit that I used to listen to. Over the years, you know, but that's what got my attention. Like, if he had a dope, like, cool voice, I'm like, who's that, you know? And I remember I was watching them walk across the street, and I had to ask them, hey, you know, how did you get your start? And he pretty much told me how he started. He was a super nice guy. And I remember he told me after I left talking to him, he goes, because I told him, oh yeah, you know, one day I want to do a record. And he tells me, you know, just make sure you remember the people who started from the bottom. And let me tell you, that thing always stays with me. Now, everybody knows who you are. You walk into a building, they know the hat, they know how you look. Do you get fans sometimes that reach a little bit past the weird stage?
Oh yeah, it happens from time to time. You know, they get a little weird with it, and I be, you know. But me, you know, I usually try to just keep it moving. You know, I try to keep it moving. But yeah, some it happens. It happens occasionally.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know that. You know, sometimes people some fans they really want to get to know you a little bit too much. And yeah, and it gets a little weird sometimes because you're trying to be nice, you know. Yep. But then if you come across like an asshole, then they're gonna, oh, George DeMond, he's an idiot. Da, 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 da. So I'm sure you get a lot of that.
I mean, it happens. I try to be nice to everybody, though. That's basically it. No matter how they come at me, I try to be nice. You know, I haven't really had any incidents where I had to cuss somebody out or nothing. You know?
Right.
So everybody that come out, keep it, hey, what's up, man? You know, it's all love.
now,
after they leave, sometimes be like, yo, that person was kind of extra. You know?
You know what I do, man? I try to stay away. I try to stay away before I get on stage. I always tell people, especially a lot of my counterparts in the freestyle world, I try to tell them I don't talk a lot backstage because once I start, I don't shut up. And I've learned as you get older, if you talk too much and you go on stage, I've never actually heard you hoarse. Like, I don't think I've ever heard you sick or anything. So, me, there's times I come on stage and I'm wondering, man, why's my voice so tight? Why am I yelling a little bit too much? So I try to stay off and kick it with them afterwards, you know? So do you have any type of remedy that you do before stage, or you just go a lo loco and just go on stage and just start rapping?
Well, I like to relax a little bit, get in my zone if possible. I like to have a drink or something.
I'm the same way.
One beer or a little shot of Hennessy or something to get me in the mood, you know what I mean? So that's usually my thing, but I like to lay back and get my mind right first, you know?
Yeah, that's definitely the way I do it. I always gotta have my Henny every time. My guy, John, he hits me up. He goes, "Yo, G, I got you." As a matter of fact, we just did a show in Boston, and he gave me a water bottle. The plastic was, you can't see. I thought there was water in there. He filled that shit up with Henny. So when I was on stage, I was like, oh man, I didn't know there was Henny in here. But Henny gets the party started for me. Now, is there any favorite groups now? Like, if I was to get in your car, right? And I play your music, what's Rob Base listening to in his car?
Good question. Because I usually just put on the satellite radio and let it rock. You know, Rock the Bells is usually on.
Right.
You know, that's basically Rock the Bells, and then I put on the Motown channel. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I listen to the satellite, you know?
Yeah,
no group or nothing, you know?
Really? Just listen? Yeah, I gotta switch it up.
The radio rock.
Yeah, I switch it up. I love so much kind of music, so usually I switch it from jazz to bluegrass. Sometimes I listen to just strictly 80s. Sometimes I listen to 1940s just to listen to some of the bass lines, some of the drum patterns that they used to play back in the days, because that all comes into play. Did you ever do anything on stage with a live band?
Yeah, a few times. I love it. It gives you a lot of freedom. I love it.
I'm telling you, a lot of people don't realize, because you can take a song that's 5 minutes long and you can make it as long as you want. You know, it's a little different. It gets a little expensive, but you know, it's. I tell people, when you have musicians on stage, man, and everybody communicates with one another, you can't believe the magic that happens on that stage, man. I would love to check you out one day with a band, man. If you ever do that, that would be really, really dope. Now, everyone knows you do a lot of the freestyle stuff with Sal Abatello. How did you and Sal Abatello meet?
Well, we knew Sal for a very long time. When I think when It Takes Two first came out, you know, Sal was like one of the major agents that was booking us. So Sal was booking us since '88, you know. So we knew him for a long time, you know.
Were you getting booked also by Famous back then?
Famous, yeah. They was also booking us. Who else was around?
Yeah, there was another. I think was it ICM?
ICM, yeah.
ICM.
Yeah, you remember them?
Yeah, ICM ain't do shit for me. It was always.
Yeah, I remember ICM.
Yeah. It was always Famous, because I know John A used to work there, and then he left there to work to create his own thing. Now, is there anything new that Rob Base is coming out with? Is there anything that you want to do that you want to put out, or you're just chilling right now and just riding the ride?
Yeah, we just chilling, riding the ride right now. That's pretty much it right now. But yeah. I mean, we've been talking about doing something new for a minute, but we just ain't get to it yet.
I got you. There's a lot of this. Let me tell you, today with social media, there's just a lot of talented kids out there, and one of the things that I started to do was I'll take my equipment out, I do some vocals, and what I do is, you know, back in the days they used to take a Rob Base song and they used to give them your vocals, and they used to do remixes for you. So a lot of these kids now, they want to get on, and sometimes if I just give them a vocal with the BPMs, you'd be surprised what these kids come up with, man. It's crazy. And you got some kids out there that listen to a lot of your stuff early on, and a lot of old stuff where it has that meat from that old flavor, and it sounds really, really good. I know one of my boys did something with this kid, and I think it was Peso. Was Peso on the Fearless 4?
Yeah, Peso.
Yeah. But this, I'm talking about like 5 years ago, and I heard it. It was on YouTube, and I mean, the kid still got skills. He sounds crazy. So moving forward to what do you see, Rob? Like, what is it that you see yourself doing for like 2020, 2021, 2022? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Because I know you got to think about where you're gonna be 5 years from now.
Well, I definitely want to get into other things like producing movies.
Oh, really?
And yeah, we've been dabbling into that because, you know, my wife, she's into that film stuff. So I definitely like to support her and get behind her and, you know, help her out with that.
That's dope, man. I didn't see that one coming, man. Let me tell you. I've always been a buff for movies. I pay attention. I just finished watching Parasite not too long earlier today, and that movie, I don't know if you watched it, but that movie, it's crazy. I mean, it's all subtitles because I think it was Japanese, Korean, and great movie. I'm a fanatic of movies. I think when you say movie, you're talking about you acting in it or you supporting it and investing in it?
Yeah, investing in it, producing.
And she writes? She's a screenplay writer?
Yeah, she's a writer. We also do this is one I forgot. We also do stage plays too.
No way.
Yeah, we had a stage play called Look Who's Sleeping in My Bed. Who's This Sleeping in My Bed? Let me get that right. I don't want to get in trouble. It's called Who's This Sleeping in My Bed. We just did it in Philly not too long ago. We did it in Harlem not too long ago. We've been around with it a little bit.
So when you say we, talking about literally you and her, like you guys do it on your own?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So how do you guys, so that's cool, man, because I've been talking about that, doing stuff like that. Do you find a place that will fit the play, or is it a relationship with people with venues, or how do you get a venue?
Well, we just, you know, I let her handle all that. We find a place, you know, it makes sense. We get the place, and then we just bring the play in there. You know, that's it.
And you guys do, how do you get the actors? You do who does the casting for the actors?
Well, she does the casting for the actors to see who she want to use or whatever. You know.
And when you
I'm just a side person.
Are you just a side person?
Investor.
So wait, but most of those actors are pretty much singers, right?
Yeah, probably some of them, and some of them are comedians. You know, you get your comedians.
Well, that's cool. So, is there any way, like, if we wanted, if the people that are watching, because the video grows more in 24 hours, because people watch it, they can't because they're working right now. Like, is there a YouTube? Can they see it on YouTube? There's got to be somebody recorded it.
Who's This Sleeping in My Bed? It should pop up on YouTube. Yeah.
Who's This Sleeping in My Bed?
Yep. Who's This Sleeping in My Bed?
And you, how many plays did you guys do? And you just did one state, Philly?
Oh, we did Philly. We did New York. We also did Atlanta. So we've been around with it a little bit.
Oh, cool, man. Well, look, man, I wanted to thank you. I don't want to get cut off because the last interview that I did, we got cut off because they only give you an hour and I started a little early. I want to thank you for you know, taking the time and doing this. You know, it's something simple that I wanted to do. I wanted the fans that go to George Lamont's shows and see Rob Base. I kind of wanted them to get to see you on a personal level and get to know how you are. And look, you've always treated me with a lot of respect. You know, you were nice enough to do this. You probably have better things you could do, man. But I just want to thank you. I appreciate you for doing this for me. And this will be up in a couple of days after I do the editing. And, you know, I guess I'll see you on stage on the next one.
Catch you on the next one. Thanks for having me, man.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, Rob. Easy.
All right, peace.
Take care, bro.